Marianne Binetti, and we are here in my blue and yellow garden. Now, it's just the month of May, so the blue delphiniums, a lot of the blue flowers are not in bloom, but I have a lot of yellow in my blue and yellow garden from this lovely perennial, a plant that comes back year after year, called Japanese forest grass. Now, I started out with one plant, but every year I just keep dividing it up and spreading it around the garden. So here's an example of what I've done. So you can see this deep roots. That's because I sawed this out with a root saw out of a container garden that was holding Japanese forest grass. I use pots of Japanese forest grass all over my garden because I have a lot of shade. Japanese forest grass does great with shade. It comes back year after year, and I don't have to cut it back every year like some ornamental grasses. It turns brown in the winter. I just grab the leaves and new growth comes up. So here's the situation. I have this deep, deep, long root ball, but what I'm doing, I'm adding an entire border of Japanese forest grass along this pathway that leads to my sundial. That's because this Japanese forest grass is a great weed blocker. I don't want to have to weed next to the pathway. So I've dug a hole. It's not too deep, but I'm going to show you that when you have this much roots, when you take a plant out of a container, what you can do is actually saw off the roots. Kind of got started with the saw, and then you can just tear off the roots. Do it again. Okay, so now I have a shorter root ball, easier to plant into my border. Now I've been this spring working on digging up clumps, sawing off hunks, and then I simply dig a hole and plump it in. Now you can see the new growth of the Japanese forest grass all along this border is just starting to come up. That's because they were a little bit shocked by the transplant earlier this spring, but they're going to be just fine, and they're going to look like this. Very full, flowing, gentle, soft, golden yellow grass this very same summer. So, if you want to have less weeding and more color, a perennial that doesn't need deadheading and is pretty slug resistant and deer resistant, try Japanese forest grass. It's been Marianne Binetti with easy answers for great gardens.